The answer choices here make it very clear, but we need to think about punctuation. But before I even get into the sentence, I'm already a little skeptical of some of these choices because I know how these advanced punctuation marks work. A semicolon is used to separate two complete sentences in most cases. But that's also what a period does. So right off the bat, I'm very nervous about this because choices B and C kind of mean the same thing. They're both ways of separating two sentences that could kind of stand on their own. So if they're kind of doing the same function, then how could one be right and the other wrong? Those kinds of subjective stylistic decisions are not part of this, so we would need there to be a real grammatical reason to do it. And to a lesser extent here, the colon also is kind of involved in this sameness a little bit because even though we don't need the colon to separate two complete sentences, it could do that. So I'm also nervous about that. Honestly, I think it's going to be the comma. And let's just see. You can't just pick it, but we can have these thoughts. It's not wrong to just have these initial like, well, I know the rule, and the rule says it's probably not going to be this. It's not a smart bet, especially if we're confused. So let's see. The lifespans of rockfish vary greatly by species. For instance, the colorful calico rockfish can survive for a little over a decade, while the rough-eye rockfish boasts a maximum lifespan of about 2 centuries. Cool. Yeah, there's no reason for anything other than a comma here. Okay, this is just like a two-part sentence. The colorful calico rockfish can survive for a little over a decade, while the rough-eye rockfish boasts a maximum lifespan of about 2 centuries. These are kind of two sentences in a way. We could just say, the calico rockfish can survive for a little over a decade, period. And then start a new sentence that says, the rough-eye rockfish boasts a maximum lifespan of about 2 centuries, period. But the word while is not up for debate here. We can't change that. And while is this transition word, kind of like an and or a but. It's a little different, but it has similar function. And so if we use it, then that second part is a sentence that cannot stand on its own any longer, right? We couldn't just have a capital W, like in choice B, and say, while the rough-eye rockfish boasts a maximum lifespan of about 2 centuries. It's kind of now like a lead-in. It needs to lead into something. Or, as it's set up in choice D, to kind of follow something else that's a sentence. So words like while are kind of indicators that something isn't really a sentence anymore. It's a dependent clause, and you can't have a dependent clause joined in some kind of strong like punctuation way with a semicolon or a period. And the colon just doesn't make sense here either because it's just not functioning the right way. So I think in many cases here, if you weren't given the option and you weren't given multiple choices and you just had to write the sentence on your own, you would have chosen a comma. So there's a good example of your instincts probably pointing you in the right direction.